What's good? Welcome to the Chop Shop. Another classic edition. Wait, let me fix my camera. Hold up, my head ain't in it. My head ain't that big that it can't be on camera. There it is. All right, check it out. It's the Chop Shop. It's where we chop up our thoughts. We talk about different topics. Again, our main goal, provoke your mind. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to provoke conversation. Enlightenment is on you. I can't promise you enlightenment, but I do hope you get some enlightenment out of it. I hope it's improvement. This is our contribution. So without any further ado, I'm going to let my co-hosts introduce yourselves. My name is Courtney, a.k.a. Cobra Commander.
And I'm Larry the Maestro. I'm not going to try to point it in my name.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Now, I came up with, I was thinking about, I was watching, come on now, I know we've seen the G.I. Joe movie. If you ain't seen it, you probably saw a cartoon movie back in the day.
The last
it
one
don't matter.
Like,
I'm watching it.
You watching the G.I. Joe movie?
I mean, real talk. Like when you was growing up, man, what was the cartoons you got into? Like I know for me, it was He-Man and G.I. Joe.
I mean, I like He-Man and G.I. Joe, but that wasn't my joint. My joint was like
DuckTales.
Hey, don't sleep on
the
DuckTales.
There's no shame in
DuckTales. I fucks with the DuckTales, bro.
I had to forget. Go ahead. I forgot.
They got a new one.
X-Men. Oh yeah, that one not the same. It's not the same.
Now X-Men and stuff. Now I feel you. Okay, so like the Superman, Batman, X-Men. That kind of came when we was like what, teenagers. So that was hitting a little different.
You was a teenager.
Here he goes. That's why he pointing. That's why I say Commander.
Larry younger than me though. Larry younger than me.
Commander.
Yeah. I'm a little bit behind.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Well, tonight's topic, real simple. Are you buried or are you planted? I'm going to give you a little context for the conversation. So I was listening, to one of my motivational speakers about 2 weeks ago, maybe. And he brought up a good point about the difference. Buried and planted. And I think it's pretty obvious. I don't want to go too deep because I definitely want to get your thoughts. But what I will say is this. If you don't have any clue, if you're watching this and you're asking yourself, well, why would they even mention buried or planted? What I want you to think about is they both look the same. But one of them, generally speaking, one of them is the end of a cycle. And one of them is, literally dead, right? You buried. Other one is the beginning of a growth cycle. So for me, I had to take a pause. Honestly, one of the hardest things for me recently has been, I passed the bar exam. Okay, woo, yay me, right? But then I realized I didn't do a lot of time because I spent so much time focusing on passing the test, getting my studying in, passing the test, get my studying. I didn't pass on the first go. I have no shame about saying that. I had disappointments. However, I spent so much time focusing on passing that I did not think about, okay, what happens when you do? Then I got depressed. I don't want to say depressed. That's actually a strong word. I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody who's gone through depression. But I'll say this. I got discontented maybe a week or two ago when I was like, man, I just feel stagnant. Like I didn't have a good answer. People would ask me, what you going to do? I ain't have a good answer. I was like, I don't know. I do, I do law. Whatever you need, homie. It's not the truth, So for me, that scariness is when it really all clicked when I realized, I said, okay, I've been planted. This is not the time for me to be worried about what other people see. It's a time for me to stay kind of below the surface and work on getting my roots down. So that's for me where I'm at. And that's what I mean when I say planted is like, I'm really working on getting my roots in the ground, getting solid, eventually, it'll all show. It's just like that seed, it'll grow. When you plant a seed, it grows, but it starts by moving its roots deeper. The roots don't go up, the roots go down. So that's kind of how I feel right now is I'm pushing my roots in And so I'm planted. Now, it's tricky because if you're buried, technically you're dying, right? That's the end of most life cycles, right? So buried absolutely is what we're fighting, at least me. That's what I'm fighting against. I'm fighting against the idea that, like, okay, this is the end. I passed the exam, and that's it. That's the best you can hope for. I'm fighting against that. So now I'm gonna turn to my brothers and ask them to give me some input, give me some thoughts. You know what I mean? Let's jump this thing off. What y'all think?
Yeah. Let me get this out before I forget it. The word commencement. People, graduation, right? You graduating from high school, whatever. But the word commencement actually means the beginning of the next phase. Yeah. We think it's just a nice way of calling it graduation. I looked at it and I said, oh no, it actually means this is the end of a thing, but it's really more of the beginning of the next phase. Right.
Wow.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I guess I was reminded. I probably knew when I was graduating all of 15 something years ago. But yeah, I had no reason to look it up. Somebody said it. That was a teacher saying it. So somebody in education. It really means the beginning of the next thing. So yeah, bury it. Anything that's anything in the church, anything dead, you bury it. But yeah, planted. Yeah. Are you planted? You need to be able to distinguish the two, because I like that they do look the same. That's like salt and sugar looking the same in the kitchen, but they have two totally different uses. But yeah, this is good. But jump on in there. But I had to get commencement out.
No, I love it. Love it.
Get that out.
Yeah. My fault. Well, yeah.
You got a big thought coming. That was a big thought coming.
I mean, like, you ain't never so. I'm always coming out of left field. You never really buried it in any position. You only buried mentally. So if you in the position where you at, you feel good, you comfortable, you straight, you're not moving nowhere, you buried. That's where you at. That's where you're gonna stay. Is probably where you're gonna retire, get your goal watching out. But even at that point where you feel like you're buried, unless there's no next step. If you got a next step, there's always an option. See what I'm saying? And you got to keep going. That's the thing. That's the whole situation. Even with the situation we got now, everybody think, I get a job to get money. No, you get a job to get your own, to move forward and do something different. They just got you stuck because it's a good check. You see what I'm saying? So like, you ain't never buried unless you just in your mind you good where you at.
You got me thinking. Okay. Well, I was ready, but I'm gonna go ahead.
You can't be buried. I'm not gonna sit up and tell you no lie, man. I mean, that's my opinion on it.
Buried alive or
buried alive, basically. I mean, that's exactly where I was going. Like, I mean, thanks for the assist. I believe I see it at my workplace. I'm sure if I look around in my personal life, I probably could pick a few people out. I don't generally look at folks in my personal life like that, but because I try not to be around them. I mean, that's dead energy. Like, I mean, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. I got friend is always a weird word because I mean it's a broad category. But I got some friends who, I'll be honest, to me, I'm like, dude, y'all ain't going nowhere.
And
I mean, it's one thing to. It's one thing.
I say they just not going where I'm going, but you probably more correct than I am.
Like that's the thing. That's the thing. It is like they might not be going nowhere right then, but if they move and transition to something different, they might blow up. But it just depends on them to make that move. Like I said, you're never truly buried until you in your head and you say, I'm good where I am at. When you say those words, you are buried where you're at and you're not going anywhere else because you accept it.
Okay. You know
what? You know what I'm saying?
I what's the word? I retract my objection. I'm going to remove my objection.
Okay.
Yeah, I still believe, and I like what you said. One of you said that like, well, they might not be going in the direction you go. Facts. So it looks buried to me, and that goes back to where we started, right? It looks the same. especially to the outside world.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to the person who's going through it, you know what it is. You know whether you buried or whether you planted.
Exactly.
What I found interesting in exploring the topic was, like I told y'all, about the roots. Roots go downward. And that's an interesting process of trying to dig your roots in. Because if you don't have strong roots, I mean, the minute you pop up, the wind or the rain or something going to blow you out or flood you out, and that's going to be the end of it.
Yeah.
You don't want to, none of us want to end up in that scenario. So, I mean, it is a challenge, absolutely, to say, okay, I'm really planting roots, and I'm gonna see how I can move these roots, and I'm gonna see how deep I can get with these roots. Because, like they say, the deeper the roots, the taller the tree. I think they say that. I don't know if they don't.
Like that. Yeah, I was trying to get to that.
Yeah.
And I heard that storms make deep roots or something. Tree goes deep in the ground when that a storm comes through. So
So I mean, that's my thing is, we have to tend to the roots. Like I once heard somebody, we were talking about like grassroots. Everybody went, I'm in the grassroots. And she hit me so hard. She was like, you're not really grassroots. And I was like, okay, what you mean? I was like, I'm here at this meeting. And I forgot we was down in Selma. I always remember this. We were down in Selma. And she was like, you're not really grassroots. You just grass. And I was like, what you mean? And she was like, you all about the show, the grass top. She's like, what are you really doing to move and make sure that something's there when you leave? And I was like, okay, it's a real challenge. I mean, we still friends to this day. She got a nice nonprofit. I ain't gonna plug it just yet, but what I'll say is this: like, yeah, it changed my thinking, and it definitely made me realize, like, okay, you got to be careful that you're not just surface. And also, I think an important aspect of the whole conversation is a lot of people are afraid of being planted. They're afraid of that darkness, that aloneness, because that's what it is in that moment. I don't care where. I mean, real talk. I think we all can agree, and if we don't, let me know. I think we all can agree. Those are those moments when it's just you and your mind. You're just there. You can't see. You're trying to break through. But you need stronger roots, so you're trying to break through. You can get all the encouragement in the world, but the reality is you're in it by yourself.
All right. So in a previous podcast, we stated that if you're doing something for longer than 5 years, you need to get up. If you're doing the same thing,
Okay.
So if you haven't grown from that thing, or you haven't produced anything worthwhile within 5 years, you need to move on. Try a different idea. Now, that's not to say that next step is right on the other side. Don't get me wrong. There's some people that push a little past 5 years and eventually they hit it. But
I know what it is.
To be profitable immediately, you got 5 years to make that happen. Now, like we said, when like you said, so are you buried or planted? And when you take another step, it's hard to understand that kind of dynamic, because it's something new. It's something you ain't never tried before, and it could fail or it could be extremely successful. But you just have to understand that you have a window that's so small. Unless you're in your 20s, if you're in your 20s, you got a window to mess up as much as possible and get back on track. Just don't mess up enough to the point where you lose your freedom. But when you get in your 30s and your 40s, that window is so small. And you either got to stick it out or forget about it.
Okay, so let me. I'm gonna throw. I got two thoughts. I'm trying to decide which way I want to go. I'm gonna go with the simple one. So, what do you consider retirement age?
Oh, you bet. Okay, I'm gonna let him answer.
No, anybody. I mean, it's an open question,
Well,
right?
I wanted to dance with the word retirement.
I don't really feel like there's a retirement age.
Okay.
Whenever you feel like you done, you done.
And
that's what I'm saying is when I say retirement, I'm speaking more along the lines of at what point are you
the winter of your life,
I guess running on autopilot. If it comes to you, great. If it don't, you good. But you're not really actively seeking another level. You're like, you know what? I'm good. You plateau basically. Like at what point do you just say, okay, I plateaued, I'm good, my money's good, my kids, whatever it may be. I'm ready
whenever you get to what you feel like you were.
Okay. I mean, I'm gonna tell y'all, again, I'll jump in and say this. For me, it's 70. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like at age 70, I will be at a point where not that I will stop doing what I'm doing,
right?
But I will certainly be looking for people to mentor more. I will certainly be less active as far as like looking for new opportunities. 70, I'm good. If an opportunity kind of just runs right in my face, let me take a look at that. But I don't know. I don't. That's when I'm gonna, as they say, start kicking that bucket list a little bit. That's.
I ain't waiting that long.
So if you Shaq, Shaq get a new opportunity every week. I'm pretty sure he get an offer to do a commercial or something every week. If you Shaq, when would you retire?
If I'm Shaq, so
you Shaquille O'Neal, like Shaquille O'Neal has.
I feel you. I'm doing my inputs. This is me inputting. I'm doing the input. Okay, so I've had a successful Hall of Fame basketball career. That is now over. Physically, I cannot play basketball. I'm in the Hall of Fame though. So now I have started, but I reached the pinnacle, meaning championships and the accolades and all the MVPs and all that. So I did all of that before I was 40, right? I mean, he was basically before 40, right? Okay, so I turned 40 and I peaked in my career, quote unquote. Now I'm Shaq's what, 55 maybe? So I'm in my 50s. Yeah,
like in the late 40s.
Late 40s, or early 50s. Okay. What I would say is I would certainly do what he's doing. I would only take those opportunities.
Oh, he fit. My bad. Go ahead.
I would definitely take some. Okay, a cool thing about Shaq, right? Shaq always wanted to be a DJ. But he had to do basketball. That was his career, right?
Yeah.
That paid the bills, as we say. And he was damn good at it. Probably one of the top 5 players alive ever to play the game. Certainly, I think the best at his position. That being said, he has embarked on a DJ career. And Shaq DJs all over the world. And actually, what he does in a lot of cases, he will donate the fee that he charges to some local nonprofit in that area. And I saw this on his show, and I was like, man, that's really cool. The Papa John's thing, that was a challenge for him. So, he's seeking mental challenges. I think his career was built on physical challenges. So now Shaq is seeking more mental challenges, and I think I would do the same. I'd be like, I want to try something that's totally out of my field and see if I can be just as successful. Now, he brings fame, and that's a great thing, right? That's a great asset. That's his asset, his name. And ultimately, if we being honest, that's what we all want.
Come on. All right.
We want our name to bring success.
Answer the question, though.
Yeah.
What would I do?
When would you retire?
When would I retire? 70. Yeah. Same age.
Okay. So if at 70 years old, you got the NBA, you got Reebok, you own Papa John's, so we're gonna take that one out. But Gold Bond want to re-up they contract with you, and then you got like a walking cane company or something, or somebody wants you to do a damn PSA for them or some shit. You got them 4 offers. you turning all that money down at 70?
Yeah. First of all, I wouldn't do. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't do anything I didn't want to do. I would probably do the PSA because I'd be like, okay, it's probably something worthwhile. I mean, I saw what's his name, Dr. J doing. I mean, I'm sorry, Bill Russell doing the doggone COVID vaccine. I mean, I get it.
Yeah,
you know?
I know.
So, I mean, the PSA would be. I put it okay to answer your question. I wouldn't do nothing new. Because see, I would still be doing the Papa John's. I would still be seeing if I could DJ.
Mhm.
I would still be doing commercials or like a 3-day shoot. You know, I mean, it's not a commercial isn't really, you know, time commitment. He can knock out his commercials in a week.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't do anything that would involve me having to get up every day, put in 4 to 6 hours. No, I'm not doing it. Mm-mm. If I can't do it, if I can't do my part, that commercial or whatever, in less than 3 days, I'm good, bro.
Yeah.
I don't need the money. We know this, so it's not
He
about
don't
the
need the money. But if I'm Shaq, I retire when I die.
Well, I mean, I think Larry brought it up. You know, there is a definition of retirement. I'm using the more traditional. I mean, I think you picked
Like the end of the season.
you went to the end of the spectrum and picked somebody and said, I mean, Shaq represents less than 1% of the community.
Oh,
It's true, but I'm just saying, if we going based off of age to retire, just because you're comfortable, I mean, I get it.
Well,
like everybody has an option.
but I think the point is the same. When I'm 70 years old, honestly, I don't want to do nothing.
Yeah, I mean that's
Gonna keep me busy longer than a couple of days.
Because for me, you know, you don't have 70 more years. You know that.
I know I ain't got 7 more years. So for me, I'm looking at like, okay, look, I'll come in here, do this little consulting work for 2 or 3 days. But guess what? I'm gonna be at the beach for the next 4 days.
You could do that.
I'm building a golf course.
You could do that too.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's being on the beach, being on a golf course, generally speaking, is not bringing me income. So I'm speaking about from that angle. I'm like, okay, unless I'm out there gambling, I mean, that's different. But you know, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to the golf course looking to make a career out of it. No, I'm just out here swinging these clubs, having fun. I'm at this beach, you know, like Snoop, you know, let me see that phone, put it in the can, you know what I mean? Enjoy this Corona. That's what I'm doing.
Snoop.
So that's what I mean. But what I brought the point up because here's the thing. At 50, if I take that 70 number, that's 20 years. You can build a whole new career in 20 years.
That's a good point for our viewers.
20 years is, I mean, that's real talk. And I'm gonna tell you something about. I'm gonna tell you another story that's interesting. I'm gonna give y'all 2 more because I don't want to forget. You put mastery level in the chat, and I want to talk about that because I got an insight on mastery. But I saw today Sylvester Stallone, 86 years old.
He is. Oh,
yeah, right. He's trying to get some more Rocky money. Because if you don't know the story of Rocky, you know, he actually wrote that, went to the producers. They said it's a great script. He said, I'll only sell it to you if you allow me to play the role.
I've heard that. So, yeah.
You know, they paid him, I think, like $1 million, but the movie took off. Yeah. But they own the rights. So every Rocky Creed movie that's come out, he only gets paid a check for what he does in that movie. He has no rights, no residual, or no royalty, excuse me. And so he's fighting for royalties, and they're just kind of like, dude, we had a contract. We made a deal. We took a gamble on you. He was literally homeless until he signed that contract. They're like, we took a chance on you. We didn't know if you was going to blow, but it did blow. But we don't owe you no money now. But he wants to secure that legacy. And that's what I'm about too. Like at 70, I'm looking around at my legacy and I'm trying to figure out, okay, are they good? The stuff I'm doing today, meaning that's 70, is it secure enough that whatever happens to me, they can run with it? That's important to me.
Yeah. For me, you should be clear about your purpose. Really, way before 70. maybe 40, 45, 50. Clear about
I
what
don't know
you
about
like.
45. I just hit it, so I can't say 45,
But you should
Yeah.
be, but each day you should be getting more and more clear, like what you don't like, what you won't tolerate.
true.
I mean-
And those are character issues. And I'll say this, at 45, I feel I've been planted long enough that my roots, as far as that goes, is pretty solid. I mean, I'm like, all right, son, you got some lessons. He's younger, he don't understand all of them. Right now I'm trying to teach him about money. That's a whole different ball game.
They think money grow on trees.
They do.
Like we
They
did
do.
when we was kids.
Come on now, y'all saying the same.
Well, the
Like,
challenge for
when
me
we was
is
kids.
I try to never tell him we can't afford it.
Oh,
I don't believe in it. I never use that phrase. I've used it before and I regretted it. I heard it growing up. My parents were great parents, but I mean, they overused it.
If they overused it, it don't mean they couldn't afford it. That mean they just want to go get it for you.
Right.
But a child don't know that. Yeah.
But you know what they say, right?
Yeah.
You know better, so you do better.
Yeah.
I'm taking the foundation that they laid and I'm bringing it to my son like, okay, look, it's not that we can't afford it. We can't afford it right now. Or better yet, what I usually would do is I'll say, okay, son, like right now he wants a four-wheeler.
Oh.
I'm like, okay, how are we going to get it? How you want to get it? You want to give up your allowance money? And he's like, well, no, I don't want to give my allowance. I'm like, well, wait a minute now. You want a four-wheeler, you got to put gas in it. I mean, what's your commitment? And so he'd be like, let me get back to you. And I'm like, all right, bet. Draw me a plan up. He wants a gaming computer, which I don't know a whole lot about computers, but my understanding is gaming computers are, that's like the Lexus or a Mercedes of computers.
Double and triple. They can be.
They can be? Yeah. Okay. Well, either way it goes, he wants one.
$500 at the most.
For a gaming computer?
The ones I didn't see.
You can buy one, but you can build it for cheap. It's cheaper to build.
And I've heard that. We'll have to talk about that offline. I want to, because I got notes on both.
I'm not gonna build one, but if you can find somebody to know how to build one, yeah, you can get it for cheap.
Yeah, their brand is they're $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. Yeah, because people using them in media now. Yeah.
So let me throw this at y'all for a minute.
Okay.
So I was talking about mastery, right? Check this breakdown. I want to get y'all thoughts on this breakdown. I think it relates to the topic, and if it don't, so what? Because it's in the combo. So apprentice, when you're an apprentice, your job, and this is I found the origin of the word journeyman.
Journeyman.
We've all heard of journeyman, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's familiar with that, right?
Yeah.
Well, the origin of journeyman is it comes from the different levels as you achieve mastery. And what happens is the apprentice's job was to get the education and then seek out a master. And after he found a master and learned what he could, he was supposed to journey to another master to reinforce and pick up even more skills. And he would travel, like the apprentice stays in one spot. The apprentice stays with the master at that place. But after you complete your apprenticeship, you become a journeyman where you go to different villages and you practice the craft while also learning new things in your craft. Then eventually, when you feel like you reached the master level, you've journeyed enough, you become a master, you settle down. And then an apprentice comes to you and you teach them, and the cycle starts all over again. I realized, I'm like, okay, I'm at an apprentice phase. And I'm speaking more specifically about my legal career. It's like, I'm at an apprentice phase. I was like, I need to seek something. I'm looking for somebody, that I can just kind of say, okay, show me what you know. Who's willing to teach? And it's interesting because, believe it or not, man, there's a lot of haters on. I say haters. That's when character is major. I mean, I've seen it both ways. I've seen the guys with the ego that are like, "Yeah, man, congratulations, man. It's a good move. Hey, man, you mind if I, sit with you, learn a few things. I mean, it sounds good, man. Give me a holler, but I mean, I don't know if I got time. I'm like, wow, just like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then the others are like, look, man, if you got the time, I got the time. Pick a time. But I'm also looking at, getting to that journeyman phase as well, because I know there's a level between apprentice and master, which I guess I never really embraced it until now. And that to me is part of that understanding. To me, you're planted until you reach mastery. It's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You're planted until you reach mastery.
Okay, I can go with that.
No objections? Oh man, come on, guys, y'all making it too.
I'm thinking.
Go ahead.
I think everybody don't want to be a master, because now you're talking about. Let me do dump my stuff out, because you're dealing with measuring. You're dealing with being aware. You're dealing with people evaluating you. Some people just like to think that. Would you say grass and no roots? They just want to think they got it.
Everybody want to be a master till they get till they get the opportunity to be one, and they find out they can't be one. That's what's scary about the shit. Because when you get there and you realize this shit ain't for me, you got to realize you got to take some steps back. Everybody ain't ready to be a master. Some people just need to be the fucking journeyman and just stay with that shit. I mean,
that's true.
I think that's the difference between a skill and a hobby. If you ain't trying to master it, maybe it's just a hobby.
I mean, it's some people with hobbies this masters at their shit. They just don't have that same drive for it. Some people just want to keep it pure. You heard back in the day they used to say, Kai used to this shit all the time. Motherfuckers used to say, don't do something that you love because you'll end up hating it.
I've never heard that.
You've never heard that? I've heard that shit so much.
You call me old, but that is like, that sounds like
I'm sorry.
Hey, look, real talk.
I'm trying to follow with like don't you won't enjoy it anymore? That's what you're saying? You'll take
that's basically what they're saying. Like, and see, that's the thing. Like, it blows my mind because I'm doing something that I love, and I love it, and I have more passion to want to do it. When I took that mindset that okay, I'm not gonna do what I love, because if I do what I love, then I'm probably gonna end up hating it in the end. But I end up hating every fucking job I had. You see what I'm saying?
So how do you reconcile that? Like, how do you?
Right.
You do what you love.
Walk me through the reconciliation phase of that. Like,
what you mean? I mean, when you realize that, okay, so just like case in point, since because me and Larry talked earlier, we ain't gonna, we gonna stick with the chop shop, basically like that. So when I started doing personal training, like, I came from every other background that there was. Now, mind you, I realized everything that I've learned at those spots that I was at plays a big part for me right now. But I was at so many other spots where I really hated where I was. I was good at what I did, but I hated what I was doing. So when I really looked at it and heard that if you do something that you love, 9 times out of 10, you're going to take more care of it. It's going to be sacred, and you're going to actually put forth more effort to make sure that what you're doing, what you're presenting, is a good product, compared to doing something that you hate, that you got to drag yourself in and do, that you got to pull yourself up to get, to do anything else. And when you get home, you're no longer willing to work on yourself. So to reconcile that, I just switched it up. I did something that I love. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I love what I do. And now that I love what I do, I can see how the effect that I wanted to have is happening. You see what I'm saying? I came from a place where people said, don't look for the best in everybody. And I went to a place where people said they can't see the best in themselves, and that's my job to pull it out.
Okay, for you, that's good. For your journey, that's good. That's good.
You see what I'm
saying? I can't put nothing on that. That's actually that was great, man. That's great. Yeah. I was thinking that too. Final thoughts. I was actually right there with you, man. Your timing is impeccable, man. That's strong right there. Final thoughts. I know for me, my final thought, I mean, again, on the topic, whether you're planted or buried. I think only one of them is a positive. I do think you can be buried. I think you can be stagnant. You can find yourself in what I call a death cycle, where you're just dying a slow death. You're not living. You're just fighting not to die. And I pray anybody in that scenario that you find something to motivate you to move, and do something. One thing I've learned from this conversation is that we all have different destinations.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm humbled by that experience, and I got to thank my brothers for helping me uncover that. I can look at someone and say, I don't know your destination, but you have one. And I just pray everybody finds their destination, and it'll pull you towards it. I really do believe that. There's going to be some dark moments. Don't be afraid of them. That's that planet time. Don't be afraid to go deeper. Get those roots deep, because trust me, the storm is going to come.
Mm-hmm.
We all, we could probably do a whole nother show on just, life storms, but it's coming. We know this. But the deeper your roots are, the better you'll survive it. So, my final thoughts: stay planted, work on your craft. I still say do what you love. However, I do absolutely understand the point being made about don't do it till you hate it. All right.
Yeah, I get that.
You appreciate it. And, that's really all I could put on it. So that's my final thought.
That's good. That's good. It's strange, but it's good. I saw a guy watering grass video. It go with me. Random. It was popped on my YouTube. And he said, you should water your grass 3 times a week. It's super duper hot. You should do it for half an inch, until the water's half an inch, water on your lawn. And he said, some people say it's so hot, so let me water it 5 days a week. He said, well, if you do it 5 days a week, you don't give the grass time to dry and the roots to go deeper. So it's not, sometimes the answer is not more, it's how you reach out and what you do. Yeah, he said, it's always not more. You do those 3 things, you do it longer, you go deeper. You actually give the roots time to do the work. Some people like to just do more stuff and become more busy and buy 5 books at one time and talk to everybody, and everybody's their friend, and they just trying to get it, stick with something, learn it, grow from it, build some roots, so you're not just grass with no roots. And 3 things I wanted to say that helps, because we're talking about maturity and growth too. If you becoming a master and moving on, therapy, there's nothing wrong with therapy. A good book and someone you can talk to have, I call conscious conversations, like that's going to tell you the truth. Therapy, a good book, and somebody to talk to. We understand as black men in the barbershop, people talking, like
does the barbershop count as therapy?
Yeah. Shit.
I ain't say good therapy, but at least you talking.
You got a good barber, bro. You can talk to them about anything. They won't leave them 4 walls, boy. Shit.
They won't leave. Yeah. And then the barber know everything, dude, don't they? But anyway.
Oh yeah, barbers know everything. Yeah, he ain't got no hair, so he just he shave his shit, he move. He ain't no hair, so he don't know about barbershop.
Yeah.
Where's a barbershop? But nah, man.
Some people, man. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, you done?
Yeah, just focus in on what you need to do. And yeah, you got people that's just always popping up. I know people that's selling something every 2-3 months, they doing something different. This is the thing they want to do. And then 3 months later, this is the thing that I want to do. And then a year later, this is the thing. I thought the other 2 things was the thing you want to do.
They just trying to find their purpose, man.
Yeah.
They probably running from it for real. They probably running from their purpose. It's probably the crazy thing about it.
Mm-hmm. And I heard a quote. You got me warmed. I get warmed up late. One guy said a lot of people don't get in life what they want because they don't know what they want. They won't tell you this. They don't know. They're just not clear. So.
Man, that's it. I ain't even got to say nothing else because Larry wrapped it up nice, clean, and perfect, man. I don't even have anything else to say. So, Larry,
subscribe to our YouTube page. If you see it,
it's up now.
You're on the YouTube page.
Love it, man.
We
love it. Like I said, man, we gonna keep bringing those thoughts, man. We're gonna keep provoking y'all. We're gonna keep getting better with these topics. I mean, we gonna keep escalating it. We don't have to agree. We just got to be real.
There you go. I like that.
Peace.
Listen.